What's up, bitches? My name's Ryan Bish. Today is Friday, November 15th, 2013, and this is Sit Down Comedy. Give me some theme music. Good job. Alright, so for those of you who don't know me very well, or didn't watch my first Sit Down Comedy video, which you should, if you need a tiny introduction to me, here it is. I like to think I am a lot like Regina George. If Regina George was a wicked witch who accidentally used fairy magic to transform into a genuinely, thoroughly nice, all-around, good person. Hi. Also, I'm addicted to Gilmore Girls because I love coffee. Other way around. Anyway, what we're here to talk about today is something called 9 Valid Questions. And some of them are just kind of boom, 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 but most of them are the sort of thing where either I tell you a tiny story so you know where I'm coming from, and then I ask the question, or I ask the question and then I tell you a little story. So maybe I didn't need to explain that much, but now you know. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get started. Okay, valid question number 1. So, just in case you weren't tipped off by the fact that my introduction consisted of comparing myself to Regina George, Mean Girls is kind of a big deal to me. It's one of my favorite movies in the history of movies. Next year, it will be 10 years old, and if Paramount releases some sort of special edition DVD with all sorts of extra features, fuck yeah, I'm gonna pay $25 for it, maybe even $35. Yeah, and so yeah, I can't stress enough how much it is one of my favorite movies ever, but because it's one of my favorite movies ever, I have had to stop ever. Well, not ever, but most of the time I try not to go to BuzzFeed anymore because, I don't know who, but a whole bunch of people on the writing staff for BuzzFeed seem to like Mean Girls as much as I do, but they don't understand Mean Girls as much as I do. So, for example, the article, and I use the term article loosely, the article I read on BuzzFeed that made me decide to see people other than BuzzFeed from now on. Basically, here's what happened. It explained that Jason from Mean Girls used to be the voice of Carlos from the Magic School Bus, which is cool and all, but then it went on to say, and I quote, "Therefore, by the transitive property, Carlos wants to butter your muffin." And that's it. That was the entire article. So, I know, stop picturing it. But my valid question is, do BuzzFeed contributors actually get paid actual money? Because if they do, that leads me to valid question number 2. One of my favorite things to do lately, other than think about, is get high, which I do because I'm clinically depressed and, you know, pot is effective. Also, it's legal in the magical land of Washington, so go me. But I like to get high, and then I go to Netflix and I watch the greatest TV show of all time, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And as I'm watching and I'm feeling high, you know, I just get my phone, or I push pause and open a new tab and go to Twitter, and I just let my thoughts fall out of my head in tiny little bursts of 140 characters. So I'm gonna provide a link in the description for this video, and honestly, I think that if BuzzFeed contributors do get paid for Carlos wanting to butter your muffin, I should be paid every time I get high and tweet about Buffy. Valid question number 3. This is something I actually noticed while getting high and tweeting about Buffy last night. Excuse me. Sorry guys, this is unexpected. God, I can brew coffee. Okay, so I know in general it's a pretty good idea when you're watching Buffy not to get too caught up on vampires and how they work and what powers they do or don't have in this scene or that episode. You know, it's best to just go with the flow. But my question is, and I really can't let this one go, it's bugging me, I might have to Google it later, / figure out where Joss Whedon lives and harass him until he tells me, Joss, I'm kidding, I love you. Okay, so they're not exactly constantly cold to the touch, but vampires are technically dead, so they don't have a body temperature like you and I do. And, for example, if Buffy cuddles with Angel, and, you know, she gets that warm feeling you get when you cuddle with someone, the only person generating any heat in that cuddle scenario is Buffy herself. Angel is just, you know, room temperature, if that. And he doesn't feel it, because he's a vampire, and vampires just, you know, they're dead. So my question is, why can't Spike ever leave the house without his duster? I mean, I know the real answer is because it looks cool, but come on. You know what's great about making this video? Through this video, I can experience myself experiencing this coffee forever. Anyway, valid question number 4. So, you know how there is a brand of chocolate called Dove and a brand of soap called Dove? I want to know if the chocolate and the soap are made by the same person or the same people named Dove. And I really want that to be true, so I'm afraid to Google it because I feel like it's probably not. And I feel like they probably don't even know each other, or if they do, they don't get along. And that just makes me sad, and it's a good question, and I'm glad I shared it with you guys, but honestly, talking about the reality bums me out a little, and I almost wish I hadn't brought it up. So there's that. Moving right along, valid question number 5. Why the fucking fuck do razor blades cost twice as much as actual razors, which, by the way, come with blades? Okay, now, if you guys will permit me to get a little more serious, we're going to move on to valid question number 6. Why do racist people have to be such assholes? Okay, stop. I know being racist automatically makes you an asshole because this is 2013, but, like, okay, I've noticed, particularly on Facebook, a lot of people like to start their sentences with, I'm not racist, but why do black people ... And it's like, really? Here's a hint. People who aren't racist don't feel the need to announce that at the beginning of their sentence. And to save everyone some time, instead of saying, I'm not racist, but why do black people, you could just say, I'm an asshole, and I'm not gonna ask a black person this, so here's my question. But no, you have to claim to not be racist, and it's like, oh my god, just admit that you're an asshole, resolve to stop being an asshole and, you know, make a friend who doesn't look like you. God. Sidebar. Being racist is, you know, a huge turnoff in general, but I particularly find it weird when someone isn't a racist, but they are racist towards one type of people. Not even necessarily one race, but, excuse me. Okay, here's an example, if I can bring us back to Mean Girls again. Because Mean Girls is relevant to almost everything. Okay, so once upon a time, I was getting high with one of my favorite female friends who, since you asked, happens to be black. And we were talking about, oh god, I don't even know how it got started, but we were just going on and on about race and how people judge other people based on their appearances, not just because of race, but, you know, like what we wear and how we do our hair and all this, that, and the other. And one of us, me, mentioned Mean Girls, I don't know why. And so we pulled up a picture of the 4 main girls, and she was saying that just based on appearance, she would be more likely to hang out with Regina, Karen, or Gretchen. And I asked why, and she said, and I quote, "Because that other one be a ginger, and gingers and my people shouldn't mix." Which, I'm not gonna lie, I actually thought was really funny because she was my friend and I knew she didn't completely mean it, but it's like, you're gonna accept everybody except one type of person? That makes no sense to me. Speaking of things that make no sense to me, ballot question number 7, which I actually wrote down, so I'm just gonna read it right to you without looking up. Maybe I'll look up. But I want to get the words exactly right. Okay, valid question number 7. Despite failing to realize it themselves, boring people are fucking determined to make sure I know how boring they are. So my valid question is, why can't they just leave me the fuck alone and be boring in their own homes? Valid question number 8. Okay, you guys, honestly, this one could have its own sit-down comedy video, and probably will someday, because there are many examples I could give to make you understand why this question bugs me. And eventually it probably will happen, but for now, I don't want you to think I'm just a bitter old bitch. So, I'm just gonna throw the question at you and then give you one example. Okay, valid question 8. Why are guys so dumb? Here's my example. Have you guys heard of this bitch named Robin Thicke? And finally, my last valid question is probably the most important valid question I have, and it's definitely the most fun. And unlike the first 8, which were rhetorical, this one has an answer, which I'm going to give to you, and just leave you with that. Valid question number 9. As I am making this video, am I wearing pants? The answer, maybe, maybe not. See you next time, bitches.